Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today I'm going to talk about my biggest position, or what has been my biggest position for the last 6 months. Has just come out yesterday and reported preliminary earnings which were unbelievable. They were probably the best ever earnings I've ever seen, and I even started to question, okay, is this company actually fraud in numbers? They're actually that good. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. It's been like I said, my biggest holding for the last 6 months. Now Shopify and DraftKings are getting very close to it, but if you've been on the channel for a long time, you probably know which this company is, and we'll be talking about that in a second. I was supposed to do my US portfolio review, but I've just moved it back to tomorrow. I just thought I'll have to talk about this, and I'll also, if there's demand there, I'll probably talk about Huya and maybe Skills at some point. I did talk about it on the Patreon last night. We did a private live stream here. Talk about them two companies, which were 28 minutes long. So if you do want to join the Patreon, the link is in the description. And if you do want to start investing, there's a link to some brokers as well in the description as well. But yeah, we kind of talked about on the Patreon, but if a video on the channel is needed about Huya and Skills, we might do that as well. But I will also try getting my US portfolio review out at some point. But there's just a lot going on at the moment. But yeah, we'll talk about what's been my biggest position for the last 6 months and the earnings they brought out. And that company is InMode. So InMode is currently at $82. The stock it kind of moved up a little bit on the report of these earnings, but not as much as what it should have done. And this company is honestly the biggest company that's been slept on by Wall Street at the moment. This company is trading at a 46p. Even on a forward P ratio, it's still a pretty cheap company. And the thing is as well that people are underestimating, and what Wall Street are underestimating, is this company got hurt by COVID and it's still pulling out amazing numbers. And as well as that, because this company is increasing profit a huge amount, even the P is 46, the forward P is like 23, but even that forward P is incorrect because it's even beating the EPS it's putting in. So realistically, the company is actually going to be trading at like a forward P of 16. And like I say, I think this is a company I've owned for a while, and I think this is the biggest company that Wall Street is sleeping on. And I'm starting to see more and more people starting to talk about this, say, oh, check out the company, ticker symbol INMD, and I've seen so many more people starting to talk about this company now. Now, for me personally, I heard about this company from Ben. So shout out to you, Ben. Ben told me about this company, and I never heard of it. It took me a while to look into it, and I looked into it and went, wow, this company is crazy good. Like the growth on it, the profit growth on it is insanely good. And yeah, I haven't been on the stock market that long. I've talked about it previously on the channel, but I started picking up this one around this sort of range in July last year. So yeah, I guess 6 months ago. And the stock has just been on an absolute tear from them sort of prices. You can see even from there, you know, it's up like 189%, but I've been averaging up as well on this one, so I'm up currently about 150% on this one. But yeah, if I didn't average up, I could be up a little bit more, but I just looked at it and I was like, I'm still going to make loads of money, so I don't mind averaging up on this one at all. And yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, and I was posting about this one on the YouTube, on the Patreon, saying that this is one that I'm buying, and if you did buy this one as well, I'm sure you're doing quite well. But the crazy thing is, if you were buying it in the CV dip, the amount you would be up is absolutely insane. But the thing is, when you look at this company, the valuation is still pretty dirt cheap on this company. That's the crazy thing. But getting on to the point of view yesterday, it did come out. It has had a bit of a trend at the moment of bringing out preliminary earnings. The reason why companies sometimes do this is normally to warn that things are going to be bad or things are going to be really good. And over the last few times, InMode have come out and said, look, our earnings are actually going to be really good. And they have been. They're absolutely smashing it at the moment. The only problem is that sometimes when it does get around to the actual earnings, because we kind of know what's happening, then the stock price might take a little bit of a dive, so you might get a little bit of a dip then. But the earnings that came out, preliminary earnings, were absolutely fantastic, and I'll show you how good those earnings actually were. So InMode expects first quarter 2021 revenue between 65 million to 65.4 million. Now, before analysts could change this, and this is what I mean, analysts are so sleeping on this, and Wall Street is sleeping on it, analysts are sleeping on this, absolutely huge. And they'll see these and they're like, oh, quick, we got up our forecast. And this is why analysts are so far behind, because it takes them so long to realise how well the company is doing. And by the time they actually catch up and they put their expectations quite high, normally the company struggles to then beat them expectations. And this is a prime example of a company where the analysts are totally wrong, and also the expectations are totally wrong. So for example, if I say first quarter revenue 2021, and let's go with 65 million. So if we have a flick across to CNN and see what the analysts on there that were forecasting. So currently there's actually only 3 analysts forecasting at the moment, and they're all rating it as a buy. But if we just put this into expectation, 65 million, analysts were expecting 51 million in revenue. 51 million, and they're expecting to do 65. That's 30% above what analysts were expecting. That is absolutely crazy. And the thing as well is, like, you look at Q1, 40 million to 51 million, that it still had some decent growth, put in there, but that is just an absolutely crazy beat. To be 30, going in above 30% above expectations is insane. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to as well look at the EPS. Sometimes they don't put EPS in like preliminary earnings, but they have done here. So they expect somewhere between 0.65 to 0.67. Once again, if we just go on what analysts were expecting on this one, 0.46. 0.46. That's unbelievable. That's nearly 50% higher than where they were expecting it to be, which is crazy. And you look at the growth they're putting in. This is what I mean. You look at this company. Reported earnings last time was 0.15, and this is when it started getting hurt by CV a little bit. But yeah, the increase is insane, and this is what I mean about the valuation is actually not crazy bad on this one, because they're beating profit and everything every time. So I've had a few messages now about InMode, and I'm like, people are saying like, oh, should I sell about this company now because I'm up so much percent? And I'm looking at thinking, I just can't, because they're still, you look at them numbers that they've just brought out, the EPS was absolutely destroyed. It was destroyed. The revenue was destroyed. And you look at what this company's pulling out, and you look at the share price, and the share price only moved up, fair play, it's been on a good run, but the share price only moved up like 2% off them numbers. And they absolutely blew them out the park. And it's still at a cheap valuation. And I'm looking at this company and thinking, I can't sell this company because of the valuation it's at, the growth it's still putting in, and it's easily beating expectations. I think there's still so many investors and people that are sleeping on this company. Like, for me, this company could bring in a massive return, and when I look at this one, I just can't sell it at the moment because the upside is still huge on it and the valuation is still cheap. And you just look at them numbers, that's why I actually questioned. I was like, hold on, to be bringing in EPS 50% above expectations, to bring revenue in 30% above expectations, like, you're actually looking at the numbers going, it's kind of fishy. It's fishy how much these guys are actually destroying expectations. But I'm not going to complain too much about it. Really, really strong numbers, so I'm happy overall with it. And yeah, great performance, and I can only see this stock. I said for a while, I do see Mode being $100 stock, but it won't be long until it's there. It must be pushing towards $100 stock by the end of the year. But yeah, I thought I'd talk about that one because it's one of my biggest investments, but I don't talk about it too much because it doesn't get the views, because not many people know about it. But yeah, I thought I'd talk about it because the earnings were absolutely fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed it. And like I say, I'll try doing my US portfolio as well in the next few days, tomorrow. And then let me know if you guys would rather see a Huye video or skills video. I was thinking skills, so maybe we can do that as well. And I'll try to get that out for you guys. If there's demand there and no other crazy stories happen, we'll try to do that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you could, smash the like button. If you are new, make sure you subscribe as well. That'd be absolutely amazing. And I'll see you on the next video.